Okay, so this is kind of the review of this docking station for my MacBook Pro. It is this one, OWC Thunderbolt Pro Dock. And why I got this one instead of other docks which are available like iWanky or stuff like that? There are two main reasons. This one is fanless, and another reason, which is even probably more important, it has 10 gigabit per second network. So these are two main reasons I got this one. It has some limitations which I was aware of because this station is Thunderbolt 3, I think, but this does not create the limitation because Thunderbolt 3 has the same speed as Thunderbolt 4. So it's not a problem, but the problem compared to other docking station is that this is connected via one Thunderbolt port, which means the whole station is limited to 40 gigabits per second. This may create some limitations, which I will show in a second. So what are the ports in the station? In front you have USB 3.2, which is 10 gigabits per second. Then CF Express Type B port. I don't have CF Express cards, so that's why it's plugged. And then below there is a SD card. It's a fast SD card port. It is SDXC, so this with double connectors. And it is quite fast. I think it's have the same speed as a Mac port. So it's definitely a plus. But I also have this thing, so I can plug it here and read 3 cards at the same time, because there is one SD card reader, there is second one, and this third one. So with 3 of them I can dump footage of 3 of my cameras at the same time to my NAS through the 10 gigabit network port, which is great. This saves time. And also I have this CF Express Type A reader connected to 10 gigabit USB-C port, but this card is limited. In theory, it has a read of 800 megabytes per second and 400 megabytes per second write, but we will test it, and it is slower on Mac. It was a bit faster on PC, but these numbers are kind of the bullshit. Anyway, other ports on the back, there is this USB-C 10 gigabit per second. So this reader is connected to that port. Then I have, to this port I have connected USB KVM. So I can switch my keyboard, my mouse, my tablet and second authentication token between my computers, because below this Mac is my work computer. It's a PC, a laptop, so I don't use them at the same time, but using the switch I can limit the space taken on my desk, so I can use the same set of keyboard, mouse and second authentication token. So I have 4 ports which are connected to this one port in the back, and I can switch with the button on this KVM switch. I can connect them to Mac or to my PC. Then this port is free, another 10 gigabit port, and here is 10 gigabit network. Here is the upstream port. You connect the host, so you connect the MacBook, and it has 85 watt charge power, so not that much. You can actually charge this MacBook, I think, up to 140 watts, so this port is quite slow, but I do not disconnect this Mac from the docking station. Haven't disconnected this even once, so it's not a big deal. Then you have another Thunderbolt port, so you can connect other Thunderbolt devices to this port. And I have my second this monitor connected to this port, because this is the Thunderbolt 4, so it has a display port in it. Then there is a display port, so I have this monitor connected to the display port. It is better than this HDMI because the display port in the docking station and also through the Thunderbolt ports offers higher refresh rates, but there are some quirks related to high refresh rates, and this offers only 85 Hertz, and through the display port or Thunderbolt I can have 140 on my widescreen. And here is the DC brick connection, and actually the DC brick is behind my monitor, so it is here, and as you can see it is huge. It is almost as big as this, but again this does not have any fans, so it's okay. The con is that the cable which was in the box was like 6 feet long, so 1 meter 80 centimeters, something like that, maybe 1.5 meters, and my desk is standing sitting desk, so when I moved it to the highest position it was hard to have the brick was pulled by the cable, so I have to exchange the cable for the longer one. Another con is that the included cable is only like 65 centimeters long, so I had to buy another one. This one braided one is 1 meter long, so that way I can connect my MacBook Pro to this port on the other side and have this available for me to connect anything else which is closer, and I can see it, and I have HDMI and card reader here, so it's not blocked by the cable. And also probably these ports are closer to the power circuit, so I guess it's better to charge via these ports than this one, but maybe I'm wrong. So this is the walkthrough to the ports. If you want more ports, then you have to look at the I1 key, or you can use this port to connect another Thunderbolt hub, or you can connect, as I connected, the USB KVM to one of these ports, and you are good to go. Although there are 4 USB ports, one Thunderbolt port plus 10 gigabit network port, so I cannot imagine you need more. Although if you have separate keyboard by USB mouse, then it might be not enough for you, but I have this KVM switch, so I take just one port for peripherals, so keyboard, mouse. The keyboard is actually this one, it is wireless, but I have the receiver plugged into USB-C port, and that way I can switch the keyboard between 2 computers using this KVM, which I show in a second. So here it is, this KVM, there is a button, it is just attached via Velcro, but it works. So there is a second authentication key, the receiver for the keyboard, mouse and the tablet, and I can switch them using this KVM between two computers. So that's how it is connected, and then I have 2 monitors connected. So as you can see, it is wide monitor and a 16:9 monitor. Both are 1440p, unfortunately, which is not the best resolution for the Mac, but here you can see, so here is my Ultra Gear LG, and it is at 100 Hz at the moment. I will tell you why in a second. And here is the BenQ, this is the native resolution, and it is 60 Hz because that's the maximum refresh rate of this monitor. This one has 144. Actually 160, but you have to put it in an overdrive mode, blah blah blah. So 144 is actually the maximum one at the moment. So these monitors are connected, they work great, and here I have a iPerf. I have my NAS. I have my NAS connected directly to this docking station, so I can run iPerf, and it's iPerf running traffic to the NAS. It will take 10 seconds, and you can see that I run 2 streams, and you can see that this is 9.3 gigabits per second, which is like maximum you can get. I don't know if I get more on my PC. Probably it was 9.8, something like that. So it is more or less the same. And I can also run it reverse. So now NAS is sending data to my MacBook Pro via this 10 gigabit network. And you can see it is a bit faster, 9.4. Why I tested both directions? Because there are some Thunderbolt stations which offer kind of asymmetric traffic. So you can get around 9 gigabits of the, I think, download. But if you upload from the MacBook via such a station, Thunderbolt station, you get up to 7 gigabits, which is strange. So this one offers symmetric transfer, and actually it goes with the maximum speed you can get via 10 gigabits, which is really great. I edit my videos of my NAS through this interface and it works really great. I've seen on Amazon that this docking station has information that is frequently returned, so I don't know what's the deal with it. It works really well, although there are a few quirks which I will show in a second. So first quirk is related to the limitation of Thunderbolt port, because it is connected via one Thunderbolt port, and through Thunderbolt, one connection on Mac allows two display ports to be transferred, and I use both display ports, so for this monitor and for the monitor above it. So you actually limited to two displays connected to this docking station, because the docking station is connected via one Thunderbolt port. And also display ports use a lot of data and they have a priority. So that's, at the moment I have a LG at 100 Hz and BenQ at 600 Hz connected to the docking station. You see that I have almost 10 gigabits per second, like 9.4 and 9.3. And what happens if I switch to 140 Hz on my lower monitor? It probably depends what is going on Mac. Or you can see now when I send data to the NAS, I have only half the speed. So the data from the NAS is at full speed, but data pushed from the MacBook is at half the speed possible on that link. So that's the limitation actually of that single Thunderbolt port, which the MacBook is connected here. So that's the main limitation of that docking station. And I have this docking station as the only device connected to my power station, and you can see it draws around 14 to 15 watts, which is actually really amazing because I'm recording video on my Mac, but this is only the docking station, so not monitors. I have only the docking station connected, so it draws 15 watts of power. So actually the docking station and the Mac, they draw 15 watts of power, but the battery in Mac is 100% full. So as you can see, now I have half the speed and I can actually run the test and switch the, maybe it's time 20. So I will run the test and you can see it's half the speed of the link, and I'm switching to 100 Hz on the other monitor, and now it is full speed of the link. So that's the main limitation of this docking station, that if you run your monitors at high frequencies, then the 10 gigabit network will be limited. So now it is 9.3, so now it's 9.3, so you can see the full speed. But if I run this monitor at full refresh rate, then that's the problematic. how I can omit this problem? I can connect this monitor here. I don't know, maybe this would duck up my recording, but we'll see. So I will switch the BenQ directly to my Mac. So which port is that? This one. And let's see what happens. Yeah, the problem with BenQ is it doesn't have this automatic port recognition, but this time it worked, I think. But it haven't turned on yet. Yes, it's on. So now I have those two monitors connected. So the BenQ is connected directly to my MacBook. LG is connected via docking station, and I switch to 144 Hz on LG. BenQ is at 60, and if I run iPerf, you can see that I get full speed of 9.3 gigabits per second. This is the maximum I can get on this interface. So now the problem is solved, that I can have 144 Hz on my wide monitor and still have full 10 gigabits per second, which I think doesn't matter that much for me. I prefer have one cable and connected everything to the docking station. So I think I will come back later to this configuration, but as you can see, it is possible to have the maximum, like the solution is to connect the second monitor through the Thunderbolt cable or Thunderbolt port directly to Mac, but it is kinda, I guess, annoying if you want just one cable. So then I think I would prefer to have just one cable and 100 Hz refresh rate on my wide monitor. I don't see a difference actually, so I'm not playing the games. If I would play the games, then probably I would see the difference, but when I just edit videos on my Mac, I don't see a difference. So that's the one Quirk. And then what are the other Quirks? The other Quirks, I'm not sure they are related to the docking station. If this is blue, that means that docking station is on. So I can put my Mac to sleep. I have a shortcut on my keyboard. So I put my Mac to sleep, and it not went to sleep yet. I actually went to sleep and then turn on, but now the monitor is off. The second monitor is off too. So it seems that Mac went to sleep, and the power consumption is 9 watts. I switched my keyboard to the PC so that I cannot wake up the Mac, but for some reason this didn't went to sleep, which is weird. It takes some time for it to go to sleep, and what is kind of annoying, I'm not sure I would be able to showcase this, but at the moment it takes 8 watts of power, 8 or 9, and now it went to sleep. So you can see now it went to sleep after like 2 minutes or something, and it draws 0 watts. So even though there is this light, it draws 0 watts, probably draws some power, but this is less than 1 watt, so the power station shows 0. And now what happens is that from time to time the docking stations wakes up, it turns blue, this logo turns blue, and the monitor turns on for a moment. Then after 30 seconds it says like no signal and turns off, and this happens like once an hour probably. I've seen it a few times. It's quite rare, but it happens. And then when this happens, the power station draws this 9 to 10 watts, which is kind of annoying. Although this might be related to the Mac battery. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it charges the battery or is doing something, or maybe Mac actually is like powering this up. I don't know what happens, but That's the strange quirk, that from time to time this power station goes out of sleep, and also it triggers monitors and they turn on. So now I will come back to my previous configuration. So I will connect this, but maybe that was a mistake. Oh, you can see now it was triggered by I don't know what. Maybe it was triggered because I connected the monitor to Mac, so probably it was triggered because of that. It draws 9 watts of power now, but as you can see there is no signal, so actually Mac haven't turned on. So from time to time it is turning on, and I don't know what's the reason is. This time the reason might be that I connected this cable, but there is another quirk, there is last quirk, which might not be related to the power station but actually to the monitor, because this BenQ does not have automatic source detection. So when you have few devices connected to this monitor, you have to always switch the source manually. So that might be related to this. So we'll see if that happens. Now the power station went to sleep again. So now I switched my keyboard back and I'm trying to wake up my Mac, which was successful. So I have my desktop up, and this time this also triggered this monitor, so it was connected via this cable. So maybe that's the reason. And now I will connect this to the station and we'll see if it has different behavior. So now I connected, it says no cable connected, but now it's connected, so I don't know this would trigger it or not. I hope I connected it correctly, seems so. So the resolution here is to turn it off and on again, and this should help. Now the BenQ starts, and this monitor is really slow, but it says no cable connected, so that's weird. Maybe I have to reconnect this. Maybe it was not connected properly. I think it was. So that's the weird quirk of this monitor. I actually have to maybe push. I chosen the source manually, and now it's up. But this is because I switched the ports. So let's see what happens if I put my Mac to sleep. So now I put my Mac to sleep. The power station even went to sleep quite fast. Both monitors are off, and let's see what happens if I wake up my Mac. So the power station is on, and what happens to monitors? It takes some time. This one is on, and the BenQ is thinking, and it's on too. But sometimes it's not on, especially when it is turned off for longer, like few hours, it does not turn on. So the resolution is to push the power button off and on, and then it is detected. But I'm not sure it's a quirk of the power station or it's a quirk of this monitor, because this monitor is weird and don't have this automatic detection of the source, which might be the cause. It was starting on PC also very slow, but I don't think it happened that maybe once or twice during 3 years it happens that it was not detected and I have to power it off and on. But other than that, I think it was always automatically triggered by PC, although I never put my PC to sleep. So that might be also the case. I always turn off and on my PC because it was drawing a lot of power even when idle. So that was the difference. So might be the case that this is the cork of the monitor, but if this is the cork of the station, as you can see, I can power it, the monitor on and off, and then it is detected. So, but if it is connected here, probably it would be triggered all the time. I don't know. We have one success. I will check it later and let you know if it is triggered every time or not. But the best case, I would probably put this into the first comment, pin comment, because I have to let the BenQ go to sleep. It takes like 30 minutes or so, and then see if this port triggers it or not. Seems this one does not trigger it all the time. Sometimes it happens that the BenQ is not triggered, so I have to press the power off and on BenQ, and then it is detected and the picture is there. So these are actually 3 cons. I have to switch my refresh rate to 100 Hz to have a full speed now, because I have both monitors connected to the power station. To have full speed of the my 10 gigabit, I have to switch to 100 Hz for this white monitor. What else? Also, when I copy my footage, I can have 3 card readers, this one, and this one, and I can copy footage from 3 cameras to my NAS at the same time. Probably it's a bit slower, like each card reads at full speed, but it's saved a bit slower because my NAS cannot like utilize all these 3 streams. It has a bit slower write bandwidth than the data from all these 3 readers. If they go full speed, if each of the cards is at full speed, which probably is not, because I don't have that many of these fast cards, I only have 2. But if I read from 3 cards, then my rate would be, my NAS would be the bottleneck. But still, this would be much faster than if I read every card one by one, and on my PC I just have this reader, no other readers, and now on my Mac I have three, which is great. Might be also the case that these have a limitation, that I will hit limitation if I have some really fast device. I have this NVMe drive in the enclosure, but this enclosure seems to be just USB 3.1, so it is limited to 5 gigabits per second, which means the top speed I can get from this enclosure is 550 megabytes per second. So I cannot create any bottleneck with this, because the enclosure limits the drive. The drive inside can go to 4 terabytes per second, but this enclosure is the limitation, so I cannot really test if this also has limitation. For example, if I copy stuff from here to here, from this SSD to this SSD, then if I still have full speed of my 10 gigabit network, that might be another limitation, because this power station is only connected by one Thunderbolt 4 cable, but this has Thunderbolt 3 port, and my Mac has Thunderbolt 4, which are compatible, and maximum speed is 40 gigabits per second. But if you push a lot of data, like 2 display ports, 10 gigabit network, then there might be not enough bandwidth for really fast USB-C / Thunderbolt drive. So that might be another limitation, but I don't have fast enough drive to test it, so I don't know. So it is fanless, it is completely silent, and now when I touch it, it is cold to the touch, but when I use it during edits and I transfer a lot of data from the NAS, then it gets a bit hotter, it gets just warm to the touch. So it's never hot, probably it has like 40 degrees Celsius tops, which is great. I know that other stations have fans in them, so I would be quite annoyed if I have fan on my desk, especially that this computer is almost silent. The fans only turn on during longer renders. If the render takes like 3 or more minutes, they are on. if render is shorter, they never on. So, and sometimes when I use local LLMs for longer period of time, then the fan turns on. But other than that, this computer is silent as at the moment, which is great because I can record some videos like that using OBS, and there is no external noise, which was kind of annoying on my PC. So that's definitely another plus. The affiliate will be in the description down below. It cost around 350 bucks on Amazon. In States, I paid around 320. Anyway, if I buy another docking station and I have to buy 10 gigabit adapter separately, that I will pay like 400 or even more. If I buy iWanky, I would pay 600 bucks. So for me, this one is a steal. It's the best I can get, and I have 10 gigabit network. There are no other docking station 10 gigabit networks. I guess there would be something, some stations on Thunderbolt 5, but the ones that are already on the market has the network limited to 2.5 gigabits, which is a bummer. So that's why I'm having this one, and I won't switch until I have a MacBook with Thunderbolt 5, which probably would happen in 3 to 4 years. So at the moment, this is my go-to docking station, and I'm really happy about this one. So I guess that's it, and cheers, mate.